Up where it can be seen later, and we're going to make mango Italian ice. I got a lot to say about Italian ice. This is the greatest way in the world to make money. It is sugar, water, and flavor. Your main ingredient is tap water. It doesn't get any cheaper than tap water. They bill you on tap water for your home by thousands of gallons. You know, cream is like $9 for a little half pint. Thousands of gallons of water for your Italian ice. Sugar, you buy it at the supermarket. Jeff has convinced me that it's got to say pure cane sugar, which narrows it down to Domino, but there is a big difference. Cane sugar is from stalks of sugar cane, whereas the other stuff is from beets and does not have the same freezing properties, doesn't have the same taste. Flavor, everything's about flavor. There's so many ways to do flavor. If you want to sell it at Yankee Stadium and you want it just cold on a hot day, you just want something cold and cheap, you use a inexpensive or cheap extract. So it might be cherry extract, and it's going to be just pennies to use an extract. It will make you a cherry flavored Italian ice. If you want to make an excellent ice, which is what we're going to do today, I use iRice Company. It's the letter I as in iPhone and then rice, R-I-C-E, like the food. iRice Company. And they have been making Italian ice flavors and now ice cream flavors for decades and decades. They're out of Philadelphia. Philadelphia thinks it's the world capital of Italian ice. It's not. They call it water ice or water ice. The real stuff comes from New York. We're going to make that today because we're going to make mango, the #2 selling flavor in the world. Mangoes are very tough to do fresh. I would call it impossible because it seems that they're only ripe for a day and a half out of every year. You know, kind of like when summer breaks out in North Dakota. And you only have about a day and a half, and then there's 6 different varieties of them. So what did I use last time? What am I going to use next time? It's such a hassle that everybody tells me, and I agree with them, that the best mango ice they have ever had came from iRice. So we're going to use iRice. The third level, where I make most of my Italian ices, is going to the supermarket, and you walk down the ice cream aisle, and at the head of the aisle, the ice cream's at the bottom of the aisle, at the head of the aisle, depending on which way you came into the store, are bags of frozen fruit. This is fresh fruit, fresh raspberries, blueberries, cherries, grapes, all picked at the height of freshness, put in a bag, no additives, no syrups, just sealed off, and there it is. So I can make the best blueberry Italian ice by going to the supermarket in this size machine, buying 4 bags of blueberries, put them in the fridge overnight, they thaw, and I just rip them open and pour them in the machine, and there you go.
And it's the same next year.
It'll be the same next year and the same the year after. And this is one case where I usually, you know, like Jeff has a funny name for the Oreo cookies. What is it? Schmorios?
Schmorios.
Yeah. Sounds like something you'd get at a synagogue. But anyway, I use, you know, just like Jeff, I use Oreo cookies. I don't buy Hydrox cookies or some other brand. But when it comes to the fruit, it's all about being picked fresh and put into a bag. It's pretty simple. However, I buy the store brand. Here in Florida, it's called Publix Supermarkets. I buy Publix brand because it's the same great quality, and the competition is Dole Pineapple. They have different types. But Dole Pineapple is designed for you to pour it out into a champagne glass and serve it as a dessert. It's pretty. You know, if it was like meat grades, it would be AAA, you know, pretty or something, or prime. It's a very attractive fruit. The fruit that's in the Publix bag is going to vary from pretty to, you know, not so pretty. But it's the same great fruit. Besides, we're putting it in sugar water, so what it looks like, we're going to grind it all up anyway and let the machine do it. So today I am using the mango. We're going to use 3.5 quarts of water in the CB350, 2 cups of the iRice mango base, 3 pounds of fresh frozen mangoes, which have been thawed, and 1.5 pounds of pure cane sugar. We had a question earlier, and I think I forgot what it was. Okay, hold on. It was something about the fresh or frozen. Oh, yes, I know what it was. It was asked, what if I take the frozen and put it in the machine? Well, they're frozen, and they will thaw some, but they're still going to be surrounded by some ice, and so you're going to get an iciness to your product, especially in ice cream. In ices, it won't matter so much, it'll melt, but in ice cream, if you have any ice crystals in there with your starting product, you're going to have ice crystals at the end product, so make sure you don't. So let's get this put together. Christi, if you don't mind helping me, I need 3.5 quarts of tap water.
Okay, I can do that. I got your sugar right there.
Okay. And the 3 pounds of mangoes.
They're open.
Oh, great. Okay, so don't turn them upside down walking over to the machine.
No.
Okay. Nobody trusts me. Look. I go to pour the product in, and it's going all over the floor, and that's when I get the phone call. I always get the phone call. I'm available 7 days a week, 8 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. If we're closed, you call here, you leave your message. If you want to order a part, you'll hear from us the next business day. If you have something went bump in the night, I'll call you right back. And so here's a bump in the night. I was pouring product into the machine, and it's going all over the floor. What's wrong? I said, when did it last run right? Well, when I made raspberry sorbet, and that worked great. Okay, now what are you doing? I'm doing mango. Well, you should have done them in reverse. But okay, and it's going all over the floor? Yeah, you didn't close the gate before when you finished the mango. You finished the mango and you went over here and you started eating it all and just say, wait a minute, I'm supposed to sell this stuff. Look at another one. Jeez, they're everywhere. Close the gate. Otherwise, it's going all over the floor and you curse me that the gasket's wrong, the machine leaks. You left the gate open. It's that important. We go along, we're not patting our machines like a nice dog. We're checking them to see that they're closed. So I'm going to mix the sugar and the water. A misconception about mixing sugar and water, you do not need hot water. You don't want hot water. Hot water has all the oxygen boiled out of it, and so it tastes terrible. And it doesn't take very long. I've got 1.5 pounds of sugar in here. When I pour this into the machine, or actually I'm going to ask Christi to pour it into the machine. When she pours this in, if she ends up with a little string of sugar that didn't dissolve, it doesn't matter. We just used 1.5 pounds. A few grains of sugar won't matter because I didn't stir it an extra 30 seconds. But this is all you need to do. It's that simple.
Another benefit, real quick, about buying frozen fruits, when they thaw, they create this beautiful natural juice. I know you can't really see it, but they create a sweet natural syrup juice in here. So that will help add another touch of sweetness and sugar to your recipe. Okay.
The old time, if you'll pour that in?
Yep.
The old time Italian ice people were incredibly lazy. They would pour the water into the machine and then the sugar on top of it and let the machine mix it. Well, and then they wonder why their blades aren't lasting 5 years, because that acts like sandpaper and just grinds the heck out of the blades. So don't do that. Mix it first. It's really simple. You saw me. It wasn't more than 30 seconds. And just pour it right into the machine. And I asked Christi to do it because I rested on the lid, as everybody said earlier today, and it goes everywhere.
There you go.
If you raise it up and pour it in, it won't make a mess. So I'm going to turn this infinite overrun control on. It says make ice cream, but I want to make Italian ices. And I see homemade, dairy-free, custard, super premium, gelato, frozen yogurt. Where's the Italian ice? Oh, more recipes. Italian ice, frozen lemonade, sherbet, sorbet, sorbetto, cream ice, manual speed. I'm going to hit Italian ice and go. My sugar and water is in there.
So all those settings are on that machine.
They're all right there, ready to go. I'm going to turn on the freeze because I know nothing's going to happen for the next 6 or 7 minutes. I mean, it can spin around all it wants. It's getting colder, but it's not super cold yet, so it's not going to inhibit pouring anything in.
There you go, Steve.
So now I'm going to pour my mango chunks in.
Most of them.
Did you want to pass the bottle
sanitize my
around,
hands,
sniff
don't worry.
it, read it? You want to? No?
No, I'm good, yeah.
Oh, okay. If you want to pass it down.
I think I have 4. How many videos do I have? 600 or 400?
600 almost?
Yeah, 648 how to make videos. One father called me up once. He had a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and he used us by videos like Romper Room. And he said, he peeked in, and they're watching me on TV, keeping them entertained. And the older one turns to the younger one and says, "Now don't try this with any other machine but an Emery Thompson." And I thought, wow, I've just made stardom. That was cool. So don't try this with any other machine. They won't go in. Yes.
Well, if you're going to make Italian ice without the fruit and just the base, are you adding more cups of base, or is that just an additive that?
I would add more base if you're not using real mangoes or frozen mangoes,
Yeah,
whichever.
Christi cut this down overnight from what it was.
But we can taste it to see if we need to add any more. Right? I don't know if this will reach, but
Are you going to try it?
yeah.
Okay. How are you going to do that without stopping the machine? Maybe get a larger container?
I got this.
All right.
Oh my gosh. We're good.
We are so good.
We're good.
Pretty simple, huh? Jeff was in my class in 2008. He sat in the back of the class, called his wife Rose on the phone, and said, "Rose, you're not going to believe what I'm seeing. If this idiot Steve Thompson can do this, imagine what I could make." And that's a true story. He stopped calling me an idiot because he made so much money, but it is that simple. Now, you call up anybody, you call up any other manufacturer of batch freezer, and you tell them you want to make Italian ice, they'll go, "Well, we'll teach you how to make vanilla if you buy a machine." Well, we've got these huge amount of videos. We've got our website full of formulas. We tell you where to buy ingredients. I felt, I couldn't do this back in the Bronx because it was the Bronx and all my customers were in Brooklyn, and they kind of were connected, if you know what I'm talking about. You don't have 2,000 stores just selling your Italian ice without some friends. So I couldn't say a word. Now I'm down here, and it's an undisclosed location except to anybody watching this, and I feel pretty safe. But you go into any other store and ask them about how to make Italian ice, and they'll throw you out. They will not tell you. It's the most secret stuff in the world, and you're going to get like that too. I mean, if you go into the Italian ice business 6 months later, someone walks in, you're going to say, "Oh no, I can't tell you about this. This recipe came from my great-great-grandfather from Genoa, Italy." Well, I've never been to Genoa, Italy, and I'm not Italian, so I learned it by observing from the old guys who didn't think I was noticing anything, but they were willing to let me into the store because they wanted to know how to run the machine. So this is the real stuff, and I think you'll like that. Any questions so far?
What's the difference between a hardening cabinet and the chest freezer? The chest freezer.
What's the difference between the hardening cabinet and the chest freezer? The chest freezer goes to 10 below, and if you warm it up with, I always use soup, it's easier to understand. If I load it up with 30 gallons of soup, that temperature at 10 below is going right up to plus 50, because it was meant to hold frozen DiGiorno pizzas, not hardened ice cream. I want to save you money, and so you can give me more of your money later. So I may start you with 2 chest freezers and tell you that you can, here's the chest freezer. You can only fill it up 1 level today, and that's it, because that's not putting as much strain on it. It will harden the ice cream or the ices. Tomorrow we can do a 2nd level. The next day we can do a 3rd level. Can you swing the camera? The hardening cabinet, this is one that we sell in conjunction with my frenemy, Cappigiani. It's made in the USA. And this thing goes to 25 below zero, but it doesn't just go to 25 below zero. It's so powerful, it will hold that temperature no matter what you throw at it. I mean, yeah, it may warm up to 20 below zero, But you can take as much product as you can stuff in here in one day, and it'll harden it hard as a rock. And then I use that as my inventory. I don't dump it all out tomorrow. I leave it in here until I need it. I can open it up. I can say, oh, I need a cherry vanilla. Oh, there it is. I take that out the night before, 25 below zero. You couldn't scoop it with a hammer and chisel, but I'm going to put it into my serving cabinet, and overnight it's going to warm up to +6 for ice cream, +6, 16 for Italian ice. So overnight it'll be ready. These are, say it again?
We start off with 2 chest freezers.
If you don't have the money, you start with 2 chest freezers. And most people don't have the money. If you're going to go into a moving company, unless you had a lot of money, which you might, you don't go out and buy an 18-wheeler and open up Steve's moving company. You start with a Ford Econoline van, and you start moving someone's couch. And you build up the business from there. And as you're making money, you can spend more money. How about Italian ices? Any questions? Nobody picked up on that there's different types of ices. A New York Italian ice in this bigger machine is 7 pounds of sugar. My secret lemon ice formula, which is at the website, so it's not so secret, is 7 pounds of sugar, 14 quarts of water, 2 quarts of fresh squeezed lemon juice, and there's one other secret ingredient you'll have to call me to get, because I am a cheap salesman and I get you to call me. Then I got you on the phone and I'm going to steal your watch and wallet. But that is a pure Italian ice formula. I knew of a couple that came into the Bronx factory and they said, we just spent $10,000 from this old gentleman in Brooklyn for his Italian ice formula. And I rattled it off and they just were like this. And the husband goes, yeah, but you missed one ingredient. I said, yeah, it's... And he said, holy cow, we spent $10,000 and just got it from you for free. That's what we do. We put you into business. That's what our goal is. And if you like what we do, you'll buy a machine. But you're not going to buy a machine today. You don't have to. You don't have to buy it next month. We've been here 119 years. We can wait.
I'm going to grab that spatula.
Okay? Did I
Sorry.
leave any ingredients out?
No.
Okay, so that's the New York Italian ice, 7 pounds of sugar. Go down to Philadelphia, and it's called Italian water ice. Doesn't that sound awful? What a horrible name. You know, I can have some guy come in from, I don't know, Cape Town, South Africa, and he says, I want to learn how to make water ice. And I go, let me ask you a question first. When did you leave Philadelphia? And he goes, how'd you know? I said, because you called it water ice. We call it Italian ice. The difference is water ice, Italian water ice, is smoother and creamier than a New York Italian ice. We want some texture. I think it's the difference between a Fritos potato chip that has ridges and one that doesn't have ridges. They're both good potato chips and one has ridges. So the Philadelphia has 1 pound more. It's 8 pounds of sugar. That's what makes it smoother and creamier. That's the secret to everybody's secret Italian ice formula, is they're using 1 pound more sugar to make it, and that's all you gotta know. You know everything about it. Unless you wanna go up to Rhode Island where they sell this disgusting stuff that they call slush, but not a Slurpee like 7-Eleven. We sell it in all the amusement parks. We're in every single amusement park around the world, of the big chains, and they call it frozen lemonade. It's a better term. And that's not 8 pounds of sugar, and it's not New York 7 pounds of sugar. It's 6 pounds of sugar. It's virtually flavorless. And we make thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars selling frozen lemonade machines. So somebody likes this stuff. And so there is a third variety that you can make. If you hear people from Rhode Island or Boston, they're talking about slush. It's so popular, and the amusement parks are so rigged that I set up. Oh, how am I doing?
You're good.
Okay.
You probably got another minute.
I sold it to one of the 3 large amusement parks. They all have them, but I don't want to mention the name. But this is how scientific they are. I went down after I taught them how to do it. I spent $1 million with them. They gave me $1 million to set them up in frozen lemonade. And I gave them my secret formula. I come back a month later because it was a good excuse to get out of the Bronx. You know, who wouldn't want to get out of a 2-murder-a-week neighborhood and come to Florida? So I come down, I taste the product, and I turn to the chef. I say, who changed my formula? And he goes, oh, it's the suits upstairs. I said, well, why would the suits do that? He said, come with me, I'll show you. It has nothing to do with your product. Your product is great. So we go out, and there's this nice couple, husband and wife and a child, and they just bought frozen lemonade. And we stand a safe distance back behind them. Lemonade's in a cup like this with a spoon. We serve it softer. And they're walking down the main aisle of the park, and they're going like this, and they're going like this, and they're eating the product, and they get to the end, and they've put citric acid into my beautiful lemon ice. If you want more tart, you put more lemon juice in, not citric acid. So the citric acid makes you thirsty. It makes you close up if you use too much of it. So they've got citric acid in my formula. And so they get to the end of the line, and they're thirsty. Well, guess what's at the end of the line? This amusement park counted the steps of what a husband and wife and a small child would take. And guess what? There's Pepsi and there's Budweiser. They're both thirsty. The kid gets a Pepsi and dad gets a Budweiser, and mom says, I'm not having either one of that junk. So that's, the whole place is laid out. You know, you might know them for some wizard thing, which I won't mention, but they have stacks of magic wands. And the magic wands, everybody's got to wear a badge like you did today. And so Judy's wearing a magic wand. Judy's 7 years old. And goes by the magic wands, and this one magic wand is going, hey, Judy, pick me, 25 bucks. Hey, pick me, Judy. And she goes over and grabs one. No, not that one, this one. And she grabs another one. He doesn't care what she grabs. Grabs it. Now mom and dad have to buy it for them. And they've got a closed circuit TV camera watching the kids. And when they get near those wands and they're looking at them, the wands start talking. And they always say, no, not that one, this one. And they sell mom and dad a wand. And before Judy goes away, the wand says, boy, I'm thirsty. I wish I had a birch beer.
You're ready.
And they sell them a birch beer.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I thought you wanted a wand.
No, I was giving you your wand.
All right, can you all see me? We have to do this for the camera so they can see properly. All right, look how fast that comes out. I can make it even faster. I'm just going to shake it up, spread it out. What a beautiful product. Where do you taste this? All right,
The other
take it away.
Ready?
Yeah. And none of this namby-pamby looking at it and watching it like that. Open the gate. We're here to make money. We want to get the job done and go on to the next one. So let the machine do the work for you. And don't try this with anyone else's machine. You'll be here for 10 minutes trying to get this out. That was a 5-liter pan. And so what we actually got out of this is, I advertise it as a 6-quart machine. I actually know it's a little over 7 quarts, but I'm not going to tell you that. Because it depends on the speed you run it at. If you run it real slow, you're going to get less product. And that's it. Let's just look at that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And see the nice consistency, nice and stiff. And wait till you try this.
You want a spoon? Steve, did you want a spoon?
Sure.
You want
And on this one, I won't ask my question of what would you do to improve it, because I don't care. And I'm going to smack you if you try to tell me.
Is it because it's your flavor?
No, it's because it came from an old-fashioned recipe from a man from Genoa, Italy.
I thought it was bologna.
Well, that was last week.
Oh, okay.
That's good stuff. You're going to like that. Actually, if I was to do it again, I might put a little bit more mango base in.
Yeah.
But it's really good.
What's your favorite?
You had to ask that. My favorite ice cream. I used to get in real trouble for this because you got my guy in New Orleans, you got my guy in Savannah, you got my guy up in Cape Cod, you got him over in Boston. And if I said one name, everybody else in the world is insulted because they all make the best. So I used to come up with this trite answer that was, I make the best. And they all just walk away disappointed. So now I've lost both ways. So now I'll actually tell you the truth. My grandfather put a company in Colorado into business in about 1910. And they still make what I think is the best ice cream in the world. It's kind of icy. It's lower in the fat level and still calling it ice cream. And it's called Bluebell. And I love Bluebell. I make the world's greatest coffee ice cream. They make the world's second greatest coffee. They have 3 different types of vanilla. They have natural vanilla, which is milk, cream, sugar, skim milk. They have homemade vanilla, which is those ingredients plus a lot more. And natural, homemade, and there's a third one. But they make 3 different types of vanilla. And it's fantastic. And some of their other flavors I'm not so keen on, but their vanilla and their coffee are terrific. So that's my favorite ice cream. In my freezer at home right now, there's a tub of Bluebell vanilla and a tub of Bluebell coffee.
It's not rated the best though, is it?
Rated the best is individual.
Yeah, but people rank them and they publish them in magazines. Bluebell is probably not rated as high because it has a lower butterfat or something.
Yeah, it is a lower butterfat. And the highest butterfat is Haagen-Dazs. And I worked with Reuben Madison, his mother, to start Haagen-Dazs. And when they were a small shop in the Bronx. All these big companies that you see all began just like you, only going back to 1905. But that's how they began. And then they grew and grew and grew. Most of them stayed at my generation, everybody stayed at one store. Christi's generation is going to go for 3 to 5 stores. That's just the way it is. It's good, isn't it, Jeff? Real good.
Very refreshing.
Now, I got a big chunk of mango. Could you cut the mango down, or?
I could, but isn't it impressive that you got a big chunk of
I'm
mango?
not saying it's bad. I'm just curious. Yeah.
It's like watermelon. How could you eat watermelon without the seeds?